Inibingelele babukeli bayo eSwatini TV nanamuhla lonibingelela kwahlelweni Embili kanye extra nguye Embali wakaSimelane umngoni impembe Dleze Mchwane bukeli lolu hlelo lapho khona sikhulumisana indaba letimcwa kakhulu bukeli tindzaba letitsinza wena tindzaba letitsinza mina tindzaba bukeli tasisita lokuthi sigcine sithole isolution konke lesibhekana nato silivele lapha kaNgwane ehlelweni ngembukeli nje ngehlala yenda ngihamba ngedwa ngihamba naye make lonkululeko wakaKhumalo from World Health Organization make thank you so much Tunga for being with us ehlelweni namuhla Embili kanye extra singaqhubeki nje ngexoxa namuhla bengicela nje uvusele babukeli bayo eSwatini TV.
Thank you so much, Embili, and thank you so much for welcoming me. And thank you so much, viewers, and I'm happy to be here today on behalf of WHO.
Siyabonga kakhulu make sikhulumisa nje indzaba yaka WHO kulamalanga lesuka kuwo besikhulumisa indzaba it was World AIDS Day the 1st of December ngikufaka lokhu ngoma namuhla sikhulumisa indzaba emalungelo malungelo rights to health ngicabanga ukuthi indzaba lemcwa kakhulu lesingayadi lokuthi sinawo lamalungelo etinveni etfaka nje ekhathi imtholampilo ngibekise nje noma impilo yethu in general nasikhuluma ngemalungelo make can you please break it down because nasi rights to health what are we really talking about that?
Okay. Thank you very much, Embili. When we're talking about a right to health, it's not a new concept. It started way back in 1948 for the World Health WHO for Constitution and also the Universal Declaration on Human Rights. You know, these are instruments that are being used globally in terms of rights to health. So wonke umuntu sithi akabe ne right empilweni yakhe atithathele yena sinqumo ngempilo yakhe. Yes.
Khuluma ngamalungelo make nangithi please break it down for us ngeva lokuthi lendzaba yaqala kade 1984 1948 sorry yes. 1948 nanibuka ngabe siyadini that part ukuthi yadi I have a right to health are we aware of that nisaba nalama conversations with the people nanibuka le nombolo does it show lokuthi simaswati siyadla ukuthi we have a right to health?
Okay, it will be very difficult to estimate the number of people who know their rights in terms of health. However, we can mention today that every person, every individual, every human being has a right to health and has a right to information. And that is why WHO is working very closely with member states to ensure the realization of the right to health to everyone. And I must mention that the rights to health are also interlinked to the Sustainable Development Goals, including other rights like the right of the child, the right to education, the right to proper food, the right to shelter or housing. There are so many rights which are linked to health. And what is critical is for the health system to make sure that information is disseminated to the public so that they are able to own their own health, not to wait for them to get sick. And that is where they seek medical attention. So it is very important that even if you are healthy, make sure ukuthi uyaya nje esibhedlela uthi hlole nje emtimbeni wakho ukuthi ingabe vele ngiphilile yini. So kwethu nje kuqhuqutela emaswati ukuthi impilo yabo isetandleni tabo. Thina ke sing WHO siyaba assista lokuthi simeke sure lokuthi vele bayalithola lusido and lo lusido lufanele ukuthi balithole libe accessible and affordable. Even if you are living in a hard to reach area, but make sure that you receive that health service at the right time.
Ngiyakuva nje Tunga ukhulumisa indzaba ukuthi unelungelo ukuthi uye kumtholampilo lomunye elabaningi bethu ke angisho lokuthi bamela kuze bagule mbamba lokuthi baze baye esibhedlela ngabe yini lobumcoka bakho the purpose because lomunye ngathi nganaguli konke right I'm okay and angitibuka mina because sometimes we look at the physical and how we feel at that time sithi ngani ngiyaphila ngiright nje why must I go to the hospital why is it important rather for me to go do ema checkups nje bochaza ukuthi sinemalungelo ekwenda lokho you don't have to wait to be sick.
It is very important because when you are sick, it's like your right is being taken. So really you need to own your health. So it is very important ukuthi na usephilile nje ukahle, and we encourage people ukuthi vele lama medical examination should be done on an annual basis. Kanye nje ngeminyaka uhambe uyodihlola nje empilweni ukuthi ingabe vele ngiphilile yini. So lokho kumcoka kakhulu ngoba ukhanza kusiletinye taletifo tibangwa kudla lesidlako, kubangwa impilo lesiphilako, kubangwa nje mhlambe nekungatholi emanti lahlobile. So it's very important ukuthi le medical check-ups and lamanye diseases are genetic. So utakhanza ukuthi lakhaya mhlambe kukhona lo wabulawa icancer noma wabulawa ngishukela noma wabulawa iBP. So kumcoka lokho kusheshe kubonakala usesephilile utocela khona ukuthi uthole kweluleka ngoba lokululeka it's very important ungakaqali leliphilisi. Lokho ukuthi ngathi ukuthi kumele ngiphile njani mina, kumele ngidle njani mina. So nje siyacela lokho ukuthi ivele nase ubone lokho ukuthi hayi asikukhula ke whether you are young or old, but what we encourage ukuthi from utalwa, I think bayathi nabomake nje basetfwele ukuthi baqala lapho kuya eclinic bayo check up so that batokhona kutala umphana lophilile. Kanjalo nemphana noma asatelwe aphilile lo mphana uyahamba ayogoma avikele ukuthi angaphathwa ngiletifo letithathelanayo. Kanjalo noma asakhulile asesikolweni kunama services lo mphana lawadingako aphilile. Nyalo nje beku introduce wana iHPV vaccine to adolescents. Nako lokho solo kumcoka kwente lokho ukuthi sivimbe lokugula lokubese sekuyakuphatha nase umdzala. So le check up ayiqali nase ukhulile but iqala phasi usengumphana uhambe uyo check up ukuthi ngabe vele umphana nami uphile kahle yini, right yakho as a parent lokho ukuthi ummikise lo mphana for check up. Ungaze uve ngabothishela ukuthi umphana akabone emehlweni noma umphana akeva edindlebeni kahle, but wena as umdali sithi ione impilo yemphana yakho in terms of health, uphinze nawe uone le yakho impilo ngeke ukuthi nawe uye esibhedlela uyo checka usengakaguli. Nasunabo 25 nje saluqala ukuthi uthanze umtholampilo ngoba phela ema studies lamanye endiwe and kwabonakala lokho ukuthi vele bo BP nabo diabetes baphatha abantu futhi sengathi bakhulakhulile. Kanti le tifo lesingakhona ukuthi sitivikele ukuthi sikhona ukuthi sende lama frequent checkups in the clinics and hospitals. And I want to encourage people to use services la closer to them, la available, because when you think of a checkup, some people think of Mbabane Government Hospital, and yet we know ukuthi Mbabane is a referral hospital, and my chances for you to kune queue are very high. Kanti nawe eclinic nje uyocheck iBP, ucheck shukela, ucheck nje impilo yakho bo cancer, ucheck konke nje longakuchecka eclinic, uyayithola le service leyo. Kumcoka lokho ukuthi uvikele kuqala than ukuthi ulaphe ngoba nase uqale kulashwa, then your rights are now being taken by the healthcare workers. Though you have to make a decision, an informed decision in terms of treatment yakho. But ngelapho sayivele directed ukuthi we have this option and this option.
Yes. I wanted to ask ukuthi ngabe le fear isiqhamukapi ukuthi uphilile nje udecide ke esibhedlela and go check up, but now make ngicela sisenze na inzaba the partners that you work with, because ngathi ukuthi World Health khona labamisana nabo nisahambisa lelivangelile ku lemalungelo kakhulu rights to health. Yes.
Seeing World Health Organization, we work with so many organizations and also other UN agencies, including the Ministry of Health. The mandate WHO is to provide technical guidance and provide normative guidance in terms of promoting health and making the world safe, and also ensuring that we protect the vulnerables. That one is important. So we work with UNICEF, IOM, and UNFPA, and also other organizations, including the member states themselves, the countries. Because when we talk about bringing closer to the people in terms of health, it is the responsibility of the Ministry of Health or the government to do that. So that the health is not expensive, so that it is affordable to everyone.
Yes.
So we work with so many partners, even non-governmental organizations. You talk about PEPFAR, PSI, I can count a lot. And there are so many players in the health field. So that all of us are working towards the right to health for everyone.
Yes. Make nawuthinta indzaba ya for everyone. Ingabe are these conversations that you have on a daily basis sengikhuluma nawe and everyone else that you work with ukuthi lama conversations lafana njengalawa emalungelo nje to health labanye bebangakwadi lokho rights to education labanye bakwadi ukuthi kahle kahle vele nginelungelo lokuthi ngibe sesikolweni. You know, are these conversations that you have on a daily basis yini noma ke ma conversation lesiba nawo ngazo eminyakeni sesikhumbutane sengisho ngama kumgcoke kakhulu rights to health lokukhuluma ngayo namuhla lokuthi akudinga uzugule. Sengibuta ke manje ukuthi what are you doing kuthini abantu labalena khashane abantu labahlala nje emaphandleni thina nje besilana embabane lokuthi badi lamalungelo abo on a daily basis lokuthi these are your rights and you need to practice them, you don't have to wait lokuthi uzufike esigabeni sokuthi ugula kakhulu.
Okay. Thank you so much. But there's a lot that the UN is doing. Like I've mentioned earlier, we see there are so many rights. Rights to education, rights to health, rights to proper food, right to shelter, right to environmental, that, you know, there are so many. So as the UN, we have a comparative advantage. To make an example, the rights to child, UNICEF is taking care of that. UNFPA is taking care of a mother and a child. A WHO overall health, we sit down and talk about the rights. You know, there are so many rights, there are so many UN organizations, even IOM in terms of migrants. IOM is taking care of that to ensure that even a migrant is able to access health services. When the question that you have asked in terms of the knowledge of the public, in terms of knowing their rights, I think this is where we really need to work more. We talk about the rights, but do they really internalize that information, that they are really talking to me now in terms of owning my own health? I think this is where we really need to work more with maybe even community leaders, the churches, and also other NGOs that are at community level. I think that is a step forward that we can take as UN, so that at least people own their own health. And we can see in the health facilities, most of the queues, it's curative services, more than preventive services, more than checkup services. To say, let me just go to the health facility and do my checkup. You know, it's very rare, unless of course your employer, it's a requirement for your employer for you to do a medical checkup. Yes.
But I believe we're going to get to that point.
Yes, true.
Decide I'm just going to see what's going on in order to prevent certain things living as time goes on. And just enlightening us to health. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you so much.
That was Mage Khumalo Mbukele from World Health Organization. Rights to health. You have the right to health. You don't have to wait before we're going to go for a short ad break. We're going to talk more on rights and now my guest now. Don't go anywhere.
Hallelujah, Tumusani Simakatse, Mtumuseni ngekushaya icilongo, nimfumise ngehapu nangetikitali, mfumiseni ngetikupu nangeukitsa, nimfumise ngetinzambo nangelithusi. Sengiso lesi sikhatsi, it's another season, lapho khona sidumisa khona uNkulunkulu wemazulu. Hlanganyela nathi ekudumiseni uNkulunkulu lapho emakhwaya lasathuthukile nalawo lasafufuza aletha indumiso uNkulunkulu wemabandla. Hlanganyela nathi njalo ngemasonto ekuseni naseyigabence insimbi yesiphohlongo ekuseni kuphindze kube umsombuluko naseyigabence insimbi yelishumi ekuseni. We praise. To God be the glory.
Let me tell you about my crush. Ngenzane inhlitiyo yami embi kwakho njengesidanga.
Nkondlo yesiswayo.
It is 3 in the afternoon. We are back in the living.
For men are so kind towards creation more than they even were to their own creator.
I am the greatest of this generation. They'll be calling me the girl who made poetry look cool, yo. Cool.
Nene bekunene kusetandleni tesive kuthi imimango ingagcini kukampunzi edla emini sive sakangwane nebantu labakhethe kuhlala eSwatini abaphile ngekukhululeka nekuthi kubethe lo nyathelo lilungelo lalabanye egameni lekufuna lilungelo lakhe sive asikhumbule ukuthi emaphoyisa bomake nabobabe labatinikele kwenta siqiniseko ukuthi wonke umuntu lwenembahla yakhe ingacekelwa phansi ngulomunye wonke umuntu akahlale ngekuthula nangaphandle kokwesaba tindwe letingatiwa emaphoyisa ngekulandzela nekushiqilela umthetho athi into yemuntu ayibe ngeyakhe umuntu sive asijinge siwabambise siphinde siwasekele emaphoyisa emsebentini wawo kude emalungelo aso sive osomabhizinisi kanye nebantu labasebentako anganyatheleki khona-ke imimango itawukwakha nemakhaya akhulise bantwana ngaso sandla lesiya emlonyeni emaphoyisa naso sive abasebente ngebudlelwane nangekubambisana kulwa nebucala netingoti temgwaco.
Welcome back mbukeli solobukele yona Embili kanye extra hleti naye Mbali wakasemelane umnguni impembe ndebezimchwane mbukeli ngishito phambilini ukuthi when we come back from the ad break sizoba nato tivaka state ngikhuluma ngaye make Mathe ngikhuluma ngaye make Cindy Mathe ahambisana naye noZipho Motha. I hope I'm saying it right. Nozipho Nzuza Motha. I had to say it properly. Thank you so much for being with us ehlelweni Embili kanye ngicela nje singakangena endzabeni bengicela nanivusele babukele emakhaya ngicela ngawe make
Ngimekele emalangeni lamahle nginozipho Nzuza Motha or Nzuza Ulamotha.
Yes.
Etikweni letempilo under the Sexual Reproductive Health Program. I'm the coordination officer for gender in SRH, including GBV.
Yes.
Yes, so we're the sector that provides the response to gender-based violence within the health sector.
Amen. Sabonga. Make Mathe.
Nginibingelele babukele emakhaya ngingisindi ngwakamathe. I'm the acting program manager for Eswatini National AIDS Program within the Ministry of Health. Our responsibility is to coordinate the HIV health sector response.
Sabonga kakhulu sokhaya mbukeli besikhulumisa indzaba yema rights to health ngasikhuluma namake Khumalo kuyifaka nje lapho Nzuza sichubekisele from there the rights of health nawubuka uyinde lenta ukuthi simaswati singawathi lamalungelo ethu to health sizesimele sizesigule in order for us to go to the hospital ngikubuka kwakho nje.
I suppose it has to do with the orientation of us as Africans, Eswatini Pela.
Okay, yes.
Because I don't think it's central to Eswatini Pela. It's just an African syndrome where maybe we haven't exactly inherited much of what we classify as the Western influence. But the rights to health is for everybody. Sesif nakuyibuyisa kahle hle. Ukuthi nginelungelo lokwati ukuthi ngiphilile yini. And at what age can I start looking for health services? Because some of letting ngone lesesigcina sihlangana nato now this is classifying in my NCDs lesisikhathi lokunye HIV as make Cindy, including SRH issues. Kunetigaba where you like let me monitor this. Kule phase lena if I monitor this, it will tell me potentially an outcome to a certain level. I think a quick example that comes to mind is ingqumbi abantu bathi ukuthi umbelekisi uyabelekisa umfana angene empetseni bese bakutshela upgang 1 upgang 10. You know, upga goes a long way. It tells me of the cognitive development, potential cognitive development of the child. But those are things that we don't look at.
True.
And then now when it comes to HIV, I need to suspect, I need to expect. I need to have somebody pushing me, have you ever thought about it? But the right link angati before I even suspect the potential to saying I'm HIV and stuff.
True.
Just those few examples I have.
Make sinasathenza lenzaba ye-HIV and AIDS as well. Nisasebenzisana nebantfu noma ke nemaswati ngabe the importance bayabona lobumqoka of testing. Sengifuna lokati lokuthi do they know the importance of testing before ugula njengoba achaza nanjeza lokuthi sometimes awudzinga usugula ekuqala. Bayabathi lomqoka yini make kwaloko nalokuthi what are you doing to help us know the importance of just testing before you even sick or before you even speculate with mhlawumbe ngendeka, just waking up and deciding?
Okay. No, thank you very much for that question. I think when we look at where we are as a country, I think people they are now aware that we, as people, we have to test for HIV. I'm saying that because we are looking at the statistics that we currently have as a country.
Yes.
We know where we are coming from when we first discovered the first client or the first patient who tested positive for HIV. So where we are at this level, ngingasho lokho ukuthi people are aware because nasi tracker we have this UNAIDS global target of 95-95. The first one, it's about knowing your status, and as a country we are at 94%, of which we are almost there. That tells you that people are aware and they are coming to test without being sick. Some, yes, we are picking them when they come for other services because we are providing services such as testing in all the entry points in our facilities. We are at community level where we have people that are peer educators who are sort of educating about HIV and then mobilizing our clients or our people on the HIV services, and then they will go where they can be tested, which it can be at community level because we've expanded access to these services. So they can test in their spheres at home, since we are also even distributing test kits which you can test on your own, where you can go to a facility and be assisted by a healthcare worker. So what I can say, people they are aware that they need to test without being sick. They know where to test. When you look at the numbers, it's telling us that the coverage is good, though we still have to close up some gaps, especially with certain population. But overall, I will say people are aware that they are supposed to test as a part of being healthy. Test so that if you are HIV positive, you can be enrolled on the treatment. If you are negative, you have to access the prevention services.
Yes, I wanted to ask Mzoza a question, but now I just want to have this quick one with you first. We would see, is it possible to have these conversations even at Kolweni and Kumanga, the awareness of the importance of testing? Because ngazuzi siba loud, angisho ukuthi you're not doing anything, but the loudness ngathi nje iba khona kakhulu when we are preparing for the 1st of December. Ngoba nasithi Kolweni, I feel there's importance of also going there. Ngabe, are you working on that? Noma ke already it's happening ukuthi sithize nasithi Kolweni when it comes to the importance of testing, not just thina sesisebenza mhlambe noma sesilanga phandle.
Yes. I think as a Minister of Health, we do have a department within, or a program within the Ministry of Health, Lelbuge School Health, of which they are working closely with all the schools. We have a curriculum, include aspects of health, so that the kids can be educated at that level. As they grow up, when they are exposed to such, they know where to go and they know the services. And the Sibanema programs that are being supported from SRH, there is a AGY, Adolescent Girls and Young Women, a program that they are running. We are running it jointly for the HIV part, where we are targeting these young girls, young boys, when they are still at school. There is a package that we have developed, which is being promoted within the school. And we also have the out-of-school youth, because within the age groups, so we still reach them outside school with the same package and then the access to services. We then provide the services through Emma Mobile Outreach. We know they don't like that. So we provide the services closer to them. Ulama communities, they are being mobilized by their peers, basically mobile outreach, and then they go there to access the services. So yes, we've done so much. We are working very closely with the Minister of Education, and we really appreciate the collaboration that we have with them.
Cha siyabonga kakhulu kwathi lokho ngoba ukusho kona ukuthi noma sebaphumile esikolweni they are already aware of what is going on and the importance of all that. Nzuza nasikhulumisa indzaba yabantwana ngeva lokuthi khona indzaba lesekhona already that basebenzisana nabo abantwana etikoleni, even the curriculum is also there as well. Sikhuluma ngendzaba ye-GBV nguvuthinsa indzaba ye-GBV that you are working with in your office. The importance of starting khona lapho the root of starting bantwana basebancane noma ke what really lefaka sandla kule GBV lesibona ama cases anyuka kangaka. Do you think ukuthi mhlambe i-upbringing yafaka sandla ekhathi?
From a professional level, I would say, I think it's silive, kuncane, kunengona, but I think we still need to dig deeper and really be in touch with the root causes of GBV. I think Boswaga and other players, Labakulumsi GBV or DPM's office, have alluded to so much of what are the root causes. But Tina, as what we've picked as Ministry of Health is the part of people who are affected are least to come to health facility unless Paliswangema, whereas we don't just work to support the police or law enforcement or the judiciary towards her health services. We also work towards making sure that you are healthy at the end of the day. As Magasindi has just alluded, working with the young people, recent data, people laba exposed to GBV are most likely to get HIV than people labangasi exposed to GBV. Lokusho ukuthi kukhona le link lekhona emkhathini wekuhlukubeteka kwebantu ngebulili kanye ne-HIV. So i-component yethu ngilo ukuthi bese siyakubuka ukuthi where does it come from? I always say i-GBV ayiqali ngalesikhathi sakubeka sandla. Iqala from your socialization space. What is it that as you were growing up, you were observing as umfana that makes you vulnerable, that makes you submissive, that makes you easy to let things go by without actually raising a concern to say, hey, are we in reality of it? And I think when we do the interventions, we always target Cindy, Nababagaki, Nozipo, Nesingansaki. And then forget Labanfana.
True.
So mental health says it's the first 7 years of a child, those are the founding blocks. And this is where everything, Pulpana and memory chip, this is where everything gets implanted. You can't come and teach me when I'm 20 how to behave.
True.
When I've seen my mom submit to it. I am now comfortable gokuthi mangithatha lo mgwaqo lothi left, ngiyada uthi right. Utapinze uthi U10, utapinze uthi circle.
Yes.
But now when you're teaching me at 22 saying, no, you're not supposed to say left, the brain says, no, angiyadi le ndlela lensho lomfundisa yona. Ngicela kubuyela lo mgwaqo lo ngiyakiwo. Ngiyadi ukuthi masaphakamisa live kufuna bese ngehla ngenda njani. Ngiyadi ukuthi mase abheka enhla kufuna ngimthobe kanjani. And those are the things that we have customized and made some cushions around it, and my comfort zone goes, no, but utoshinja. And that always roots back to socialization.
Yeah.
What is it that I learned that I've not unlearned? But that does not mean we cannot unlearn certain things. True. It just says at the foundation phase, while we adults are unlearning certain things, how can we not forget the child? And if I don't forget the child, what capacity can I do for the child to be able to regulate their own emotions? Yes. And how we are picking that, especially with GBV, I think Shim's 2016, we realized two things. The most common type of violence, including with the recent violence against children study, we are picking intimate partner violence is there. We may have sexual violence, we may have physical violence, we may have emotional, but intimate partner violence is the controlling parameter. And now you look into the 20 to 29, those are people who are still wanting relationships. They want a sense of belonging, they want to be loved, they want to establish something that says, hey, I'm socially a person. Now, this is where it starts kicking in. Then we also noted the ages of 40 to 49, and the corresponding variable was divorce and separation. So you start thinking, what then happens when people start divorcing? What happens when people are divorcing or separating? What happens when people are widowed around that period? Everybody has lost something. You are vulnerable. So anybody that comes into space is coming in to make a compensation or a compromise to make you feel, no, you're not hitting a midlife crisis, but we're here. But then the overlook is as ni gearisha towards fulfilling the basic needs, which is a sense of belonging and being in love and everything else. I'm also compromising what I would not tolerate under certain circumstances. I'm sure we've seen others, Pomagwet maybe, I'm not saying my mom per se, Pomagwet for saying, cool. But when you really do a reflection, is it something that you're suddenly seeing because you've reached a developmental milestone that say, I should have achieved? Or you are in a point whereby I'm saying, this is regression for me. Especially abanye bakubita nge-midlife crisis. Sekuthiwa ingathi teenager ebutshaleni. There's a correspondence with GBV and mental health. And there's also a correspondence between GBV and there is exposure to HIV.
True.
Yeah.
I think what you're saying is very important. Lenzaba ikakhulu lenzaba yayo efakathi GBV lokuthi ayiveli iqala sikakubeka sandla iqala emuva. Mbukeli solubona ihlelo Embili kanye extra. Sikhonisa inzaba lemcwa kakhulu mbukeli ngethembe lokuthi you're not going to go anywhere because right now we're going to go for a short ad break. Be back very soon.
Hello everyone and welcome to the show. You know the vibes, it's the beat down. The time is 8 p.m. It's time for you to relax, sit back, relax, and enjoy the music videos that I got for you.
Moving no direction, like it's a calling. Been alive in the middle of nowhere. Shake the ground and burn the air. So yeah, you don't have to hold back for anything or anyone. Just on this.
This weekend is Swatini, your official weekend party starter. Tune in for the best of entertainment. We're bringing you the hottest music videos and live studio interviews with your favorite celebrities. We're giving you a front row seat to the latest fashion trends as well as your weekend gig guide. Join us live on social media and call in to send your shout-outs. Be sure to catch our movie segment where we review and give updates on all latest movies. Catch This Weekend Eswatini every Friday at 5:30 p.m. live on Eswatini TV.
Are they yours?
Ngabukela ke washa umkhukhu every Sunday at 3 p.m.
Welcome back mbukeli solubona ihlelo Embili kanye ngihleti naye make Sindi wakamathe naye noZipho Nzuza wakamotha. Sikhuluma indaba lemcwa kakhulu mbukeli indaba emalungelo ikakhulu nje besiphuma kuyo Friday. We were actually, it was the 1st of December lapho khona beku World AIDS Day, HIV and AIDS Day. Ngethemba ukuthi nalapha ekhaya you are doing something and I hope that you've learned something on this day, especially the importance of testing. Ukuthi kumcwa kakhulu ukuthi uhlole ungakaphathwa ngilokuthide nje, just go to the hospital and check yourself out and see ukuthi ngabe konke kusahamba kahle. So sikhulumisa indzaba the importance of testing as well. Lengifuna ukuthi sikhulumise ngalo is the fear. Ingabe nanixoxisana nebantfu noma when you go out there to the people umuntu afika athi hey namhla ngisenje ngitohlola but angikhosholo ukuthi ngende i-decision lekahle yini. Why do we fear that? Why can't I just wake up and decide I'm going to do an HIV test today? What's the reason behind that? Lenditivako tizali futhi bantfu
labasabako lokunengi ngilele sikhulumile nge-HIV earlier on nayifika. A lot has been said sayisaba and besathi ukuthi once I test positive ngiyafa. So loko kumendile bantu ukuthi angifuni kwathi le status because once I know ngiphinze ngisaba ukuthi once ngatesta positive ngidawungena kuma sale ngidla ama ARVs for life. That's one fear. They've heard of the side effect of the ARVs. They are afraid of the side effect. Noma so ukhuluma uzama kubachazela ukuthi yes the side effects are there but they are only for a short period of time, like any other drug without experience. But then we have to look at the long effect of taking the drug because it improves your life and you are going to live long. With time as isiba engage abantu sebabuka the bigger picture sekusukela esilwane ukuthi ngathola iHIV ngiyafa kusuke esilwane sokuthi ngathola iHIV nangidla ama ARVs atangenda 1 2 3 4 impilo yami nje affect andlela thithi. So bantu nyalo sebak acceptile they are coming up to test just to test themselves ukuthi check ukuthi am I still negative nale information that they also get as they access the service. Lokunye lekusisitile ngiloko ukuthi bese siba nema interventions aka prevention because initially we used to test people bese siyabafundzisa nje ukuthi okay iHIV ikanje uyithola kanje uyivikela kanje nangabe usete chubeke usebenzise condom. So mostly besina intervention yethu it was only condom but as kuhamba isikhathi we had my interventions that have been recommended. They are evidence based by WHO because as Minister of Health in the implementation of the HIV response, especially the biomedical interventions, see guide one WHO and UNAIDS, this is what we're supposed to be doing. So with these new interventions, so you have to go to noma nginga testa positive, ngingena ku ART, ngiyawathatha, but ang supporter because I need to adhere until I'm virally suppressed. Leli gciwane ngiphile nalo ngingakhona kulengcisela lolo negative. So we have to if I'm testing I'm negative we have to sekunejinsita. We do have prevention methods which include pre-exposure prophylaxis. Lipilisi introduced in 2019 in country. Okay, we started in 2017. It was at a demonstration level. We wanted to learn. Then by 2019, we're scaling it up. Now it was following a recommendation by WHO in 2015. Yes. It can be provided by countries with high HIV incidence rate. Tinege silive siyatating a prevalence basing #1 in we are still #1 even today. So even the number of new infections that we're experiencing, they were very high. So we had to consider the ministry and the decision let us introduce this because at that time we had a condom. People, they were not consistently using the condom. Other infections. We had already VMMC, which is the male circumcision. Still, we know that yes, reduce my chances. We had little like a PMTCT, lelabo magela batetwele na laba munyisa leguti banga testa positive basis ya kona kuvigila na lomban. Why na shishes ba test yes. But we're continuing to see lama infections. Then we introduced the pre-exposure prophylaxis. Lesi bona guti isitile in the reduction of the new infections since the 2019 because like Nozipo was saying that we have conducted SHIMS, which a population-based survey book HIV. The recent one was in 2021, where we've seen my infections they've been reduced from which is experience about 7,000 per year to 4,000. So Nasobuka, the combination of all these prevention services, they've managed to reduce the infections, of which as a country, as we are moving forward, we have to continue and strengthen the provision of this combination prevention. But in Lela, yonke kuze or access of these services, iqala like testing.
Ngisafuna ukubuta lapho ukuthi indaba condoms ayibona ngabe le PrEP itholakala kanjani, like how do you get to the point of saying nami ngiyayithola le PrEP, just the process because lo munye ngathi batangibuta lokuningi noma I have to go through a lot before because labanye abafuni go through a lot and you need to go through a lot so that you get the help. How's the process mate when you unasothola sebathi okay nayi iPrEP then it also can also help you?
It can help you. iPrEP indaba yayo iqala la ku testing. You test negative. Yes. Once you test negative, ungaba ukuthi utestile ekhaya because we have this HIV self-test. You test on your own. If you are negative, you can go to your facility. nearest facility, you can go to a outreach, a mobile outreach, because various now services like my communities. So people, once they've tested negative, so kuyakunika leli gunya ukuthi ngoba labanye basaba lo what if ngifuna lo prep ngithi ngiyafika bangitest bangikhanza positive sengivele ngenanga la ka-ART, of which is still a gain. Labanye ke bese bayahamba ke with that. So kukahle lokho ukuthi umuntu abe nako lokuthi angiteste, because yonke le nto iqala ekutesteni. Either you test negative, you get the prevention, you test positive, you go for the ART. So lala, for you to access PrEP kufuna uteste negative nase kutesta on the day, bese siyakukhulumisa sikunika onke lama prevention services that are there. Kuba kuwe asikhohesi, kuba kuwe ukuthi ubona ukuthi ngikulo kusebenzela kubuka lesimo sakho. So nangabe uprefer PrEP, ngilapho la bese sichubeka sikhulumisana nawe ukuthi ke PrEP ke liphilisi i-combination ema-ARVs ngoba kumcoka lokusibantu bathi ngoba lo munye usinoseka wabuka bese athi hawu kanti lo PrEP ma-ARVs. Yes, kwanyalo vele liphilisi lelilwa ne-HIV liyoba i-ARV. So kutholakala ukuthi le combination le iya prevent, because all along we've had i-combination ema-ARVs la beka treat. So this one i-preventa ukuthi noma kungendeka le exposure ibe khona ungayitholi le HIV. So loku lesingathi kube kubi ngayo ngilokuthi preventa le HIV kuphela. Then you have to still use the condom to prevent more unwanted pregnancy if you are a female, noma nje as your partners, noma ni couple. Futhi it doesn't prevent acquisition of STI. There are other STI long our acquiring. So that's why we still emphasize good use PrEP and the condom to prevent the others. So PrEP lenga kusho ngungete nje kancane umbukele asalalele uthi inhlangothi leti mbili kwanyalo kodwa utogcina athi actually usatawuvuleka because there are more studies that are being conducted. So in the country currently we have lama pills, which is the combination of two lama ARVs, which can be taken as daily. Ekakhulu kubulaba labasimame ba nakhona kufuna wathathe ube nalamalanga before kufike kumbe lelo langa la uthathe exposure khona. So uyakufuna vele uthi dilungiselele awumani nje uthi cuzasha. So kufuna uteste ube negative bakunike uwanathe kungemalanga nawe simame sesithi wanathe for 7 days before the exposure, then you continue taking it during that period that you are exposed, then you close it with another 7 days. Kodwa kubobabe ema-trials lakendiwa akutfolakele ukuthi uba effective in a short period of time. So it has reduced the 7 days. Initially nabo bebamthatha 7 days, but ema-trials asikhombisa ukuthi within 2 hours to 24 hours nakayinathile bese uyat exposure uba protected. Bese uyachubeka kuyayinatha during the period of exposure. So recently Hulumende uphinze wa consider a recommendation that is coming from WHO. You go introduce the PrEP ring, which is for the females, unfortunately. Pilot in country. We are hoping to scale it up by next year. And next year, we are going to also get a support from PEFA, Lodasipa Emma Lomjova, because Mjova now Lotolagale Guti, we are sita ekvigeleni. WHO has already recommended because the guide one way to looks at Tata Labema trials by end. Bamnigele yongele evidence, then I may end the decision. So they've already recommended that we can use the PrEP injectable for both males and females. So in country we are hoping that by mid-year next year, sisabese roll out both a scale up a scale up for the ring and also ube ma pilot for Lomjova, because we need to learn before so roll out in all facilities. But it do coverage along the level. It's just that it's going to be in few facilities, but people can still access it in those facilities. Back on. Then with time, spend get the facilities because how do you provide it? Ngoba nyalo be under EMA trials. So good the logo wa wanugumjovo gubantu nje in the general population. So we need to learn from these small pilots and then we expand it.
Mbogeli solo mbogeli hlelo Embili kanye extra sikhulumisa nzaba timconjo benshito mbogeli sikhulumisa nzaba letfaya khathi wena letfaya khathi mina egcina konke mbogeli sifuna kuhamba kanye siembili siphilile simaswati. We're going to go for a short air break. Right after this we'll be talking more on health issues. Don't go anywhere.
Eswatini lifestyle is all about inspiration, drive and swag.
Eswatini Lifestyle is informative and fun while covering all aspects of life, be it people, places, and trends in the kingdom of Eswatini. We got you covered. The focus is on the quality of life. Eswatini Lifestyle will spark your interest. Catch Eswatini Lifestyle every Friday at 7:30 p.m. on Eswatini TV, Sibugo Semaswati.
Hello and welcome to Eswatini TV and to a brand new talk show called A Cuppa with Nomkebo. And I do what I have to do because I know where I'm going. All 5 of my mothers have inspired me.
So the addiction didn't happen then. It happened again another 8 years later. But that's where it started.
Choices I made at the time were not the best choices for myself.
I understand how a person can lose their mind in terms of life experiences.
That's what it looks like, and I like that. But you know what? The journey to my success is never a straight line.
Yeah, people are on the net now, and that's where we'd like to catch them with such shows.
Busiseka mzalwane ukubukela umculo wemadodana ahlabelela adumisa uNkulunkulu. Amadodana nendumiso luhlelo lwakhele wena mbukeli ude utovuseleleka emoyeni uphindze udumise nelidodana sibabade longabonwa ngemehlo. Phakama Nkosi yemazulu luthumbo lungelwakho.
Welcome back mbukeli solobukele Embili kanye extra ngihleti naye make Sindi wakamathe sokhaya ehambisana naye noZipho Nzuza Motsa sibuye endzabeni yamagala ekhulunyisako endzaba ye-HIV and AIDS important singabe nine noZipho what are you doing rather noma ke what can you do nibambisane nabo ekakhulu kule ndzaba ye-GBV le besithinza nje ukuthi as a country tinombolo setiyasabisa kakhulu.
Angibonge mlaleli. I think, like you said, there's close link between GBV and health outcomes. Some of the health outcomes, swabona immediately. Like, for instance, if somebody is sexually violated, it's an immediate effect. You know what you have to think about. Is there HIV possibilities? Is there pregnancy possibilities? Is there mental health possibilities? But those lababinza go banga konisheshe basike ema health services, go basically accumulate, ukanze go muntu so tetfele, uthwele umfana la ngamfoni. Uthwele umfana la hlukubetekile ukuze amthole ukhanze lokumnyika ukuthi asakhona kona lokuthola lentalo kungayitholi indalo encane during the time when this person was exposed to being sexually violated wathola ama STIs wangakhona kwalapha kwathola nabo HIV. STIs are very close linked to infertility because some of the things that limatako lasinyeni deyakwenda ukuthi in the long run ungagcina khona ungasakhona ukuthola abantwana ngokuthi maybe sinya sakhona ukuhlalisa umfana or maybe emacanza lakhona sekablokeka along the way kube khona nalokulimala kwengqondo. We always say some behaviors wabuka swafrown ukhanze lomunye so umuntu nje lohlala titsakelo. They're trying to numb what they went through. They're trying to really get along with people without people saying how kwendekeni kuwe why uphas kangaka kunengi lokwendakalako. And then kungene netinto about sexual dysfunction. Ukhanze umuntu bekaditsanzela kumbe kujabula nemfowakhe. But suddenly song lo muntu lo reserved and all other things. And like I said earlier on, sometimes the violence ayiqali from ngokuthi suddenly saying kwendekeni. Some of the vulnerabilities, especially masikhuluma nge-intimate partner violence lengazuthi ngiyona islimada. Mabuka tindzaba tekubulalana, mabuka tindzaba tekushayana nako konke. Ibantu lababili labathandzanako or labake bathandzana. Lesi sikhathi hambi ifake ekhathi boskon bakho, bomaketala bakho, yabo sikhona bomaketala bobabetala ifaka la cards and ngishilo ngathi emangicala some of the causes siwabuka satlo ndobekisa nje if I was to bluntly ask you from your salary mawungena nje titi phela kwenyanga how much do you pay yourself from that salary?
Nothing.
You probably don't even feature in the budget.
Nothing.
And that's already a vulnerability on itself because everybody that you're putting in there, if I was to say, list me the top 5 people that are top 5 things that are important in your life, you'd find because you don't even feature. I'll devalue myself.
True.
And that's a vulnerability because the people that you're putting on the platform to saying they're important to you or the things that you're putting to say they're important, it's a variable that changes depending on what you're putting on the table for them. If you put your child, if I go to your child, will your child tell me you're important? So when you start putting controllers that you have no controls over, that's a vulnerability. Kulula ke ukuthi somebody ill will come in and have a mapping around you. And if we look at it long term, it might actually have even an effect on the positive that we've done with HIV. Because now, sekunama controllers, what is it contributing to me kutsinging at the expose without a condom to have sex? Engcene ubhatala rent. Engcene nguyelo sebenza kolandlini. Engcene unaga bantwana. So ngema vulnerability pockets that we also need to kuwabuka. And some of the vulnerability pockets achamga from ekuqaleni. Have you ever looked into why we call certain people deputy parents? You call them deputy parent your firstborn. Who control everything. You want the nurturing yakhe. I must have everything in place at the right time because if I don't, I have to be disciplined. There's discipline that comes with it.
True.
Now look at that person in a relationship. Do you see that person allowing the next person to be sentimentally valuable? They'd want to control. You look at the last born, we call them the naughty natures, where ufuna konke kwendela. Now, ngijwayele ukuthi bayakhuluma la khaya, bangisheshe bakhale. Mangikhwehlela, everybody comes in and shatters into me. Now, I'm in a relationship. What am I going to do? Then you look into the middle child, Lola Kaya. Remember the first significant people like Kaya is the firstborn and the last one. The middle child, no matter how many magenguswashile siege. The first thing that you will say is, oh, siyabonga sis, keshe sinji, mafasta la avaliwe yini. Udlile nomcebo. Oh, sobuyile, uvukile mvanami. You know, those kind of things make the person void of emotional connection that those middle somewhere. They're void of nurturing. So now take that person as an adult. What does he know best? The first moment somebody I put her that picture of an emotion, they cling like never before. That's why you'll find kuthiwa kunebantu abathengela abantu futhi imoto. A female thenga imoto akayigibeli. Wakhe indlu akahlali kiyo. Ugcoka impahla tase bend and buy. We call them boutique, ne? Bend and buy boutique. But the person namgcoksako is wearing something of what the value that they're wearing. But I've reduced myself because I'm trying to keep, I'm trying to retain. Because emotions is the first thing that I'm learning. So personally from a professional end, I feel as a leaver, we need to invest a lot in mental health, starting from foundation phase.
True.
Let the child know what is anxiety, what are panic issues, what is depression, where can I regulate my emotions, how do I regulate my emotions. 14 years ago, I think in Mastalabo violence against children, we started for the girl child because as bona guthi how nabantwana banabo multiple concurrent partners nabantwana bathengisa for economic benefits when they are intimate nabantwana banabo early sex debut. The current 2022 violence against children study is saying the boy is multiple concurrent now. The boy is early sex debut. So now you're thinking, where are we missing it? The missing is how much have we invested in mental health so that everybody can regulate, so that nobody comes in and say, condom without sex. I'm the major shareholder here, and then I have to let it slide because then he contributes to what I can't contribute.
Thank you so much for your time. I think these are conversations we should have because kuyasivula emehlweni kakhulu nebabukela emakhaya bakubona lokho bacansi bayakwadi kana bakwadi. Thank you so much for your time. Nozipho siyabonga kakhulu isikhathi sakho. Sethemba ukuthi we're going to have this conversation again. Sitabona ukuthi sakanjani nohlelo, but this is really important. Make mathi, thank you so much Sokha for being with us namhlanje ehlelweni. Mbukeli bongile hlelo Embili kanye extra. Sikhulumisana nenzaba nemcwa kakhulu indaba emalungelo bakhulumisa ke indaba yayo HIV and AIDS nenzaba ye-GBV. Lesithinta kakhulu kulamalanga silive sabona inombolo yenyuka sethembe ukuthi simaswati we're going to work together mbukeli le nombolo inciphe. Yena siqiniseko sembukele ukuthi banathi iphindze venanzelako ngasona sikhathi sesifana kumneke ngimbalo kasemelane umngoni Mpembe lezingxowane ngisasara kahle. Nkulunkulu akubusise.